At about 24 months, here's where she started grabbing the tutus and the dresses.
By 3.5, Kieran.
She started grabbing them. Like, you didn't put them on him. You didn't start, like, handing them and be like, does this look nice to you?
He just grabbed, a little kid just grabbed something that was bright and fluffy looking, like he would a stuffed animal. And even if he put it on, that doesn't mean that he identified as a girl. Like, this is parents being crazy.
And aren't they the same ones that say, like, gender shouldn't be confined or, like, be synonymous with certain objects? So, like, if this kid was grabbing tutus, what, in your mind, why would that make him a girl?
Kieran had transitioned to a girl. Today, she's 9 years old, a third grader, and an athlete. That's why the Clausens are celebrating Governor Holcomb's decision to veto a bill that would have banned Kieran and other transgender girls from playing on girls' sports teams at school.
There were
up until the age of 9 or 10, it's okay for them to play.
Yeah, because I had girls playing on the boys' teams. When there's no checking, that's like the thing. Like, you're not even old enough to hit yet.
Yeah.
I was playing hockey, and you couldn't even hit the other people.
Yeah,
so that's why there was girls on the team. So, yeah, that's normal for, like, 9-year-olds.
Right, and there weren't that many girls on the team.
Wait,
there were girls
no,
teams.
but that's a guy on the, I mean, I don't know. Because, like, it wasn't guys going into girls' leagues. It was girls that were good going into guys' leagues. So I still think that's actually kind of weird.
Right, no, but I think it's fine when there's no checking involved. It was really about stick hand. We're talking about ice hockey.
9. It's like
ice hockey. We were talking about stick handling and skating ability. At that point, speed was a factor, but it wasn't like the way it becomes after the age of 10, 11, 12. And there's a real differentiation.
Well, girls actually develop earlier. So, like, some of the girls would be smoking the boys because they're like at like that age, they're like typically taller than boys.
Oh, right. Then they go in completely divergent paths. So yeah, you can let your 9-year-old boy play on the girls' team, but does he belong in the girls' locker room? Like, what's wrong with these people? Like, this is so sad that a parent would want this and push this on their child.
Look at the sign they have too. Stop attacking our trans youth. Imagine you had that in your house growing up as a kid for like what you identify as. That just like. It's just victim mentality to the max. Like, every time you go out, you're like, every time you wake up in the morning, that's what you see. Like, I'm a victim. And, like, people don't like me. Every single day, that's what they see. How does that not have a subconscious effect on you?
When I told Kieran, she squealed with glee.
There are people watching this right now who will say, people who were...
You could tell a little kid anything and they'd squeal with glee.
Well, when you've told a child that you're a victim, you're a victim, you're a victim, you're a victim, oh, the governor is going to save you now.
This is so stupid.
You know what I mean? Like they have this kid in these horrible, heavy adult themes instead of letting it just be a kid.
People who were born a boy and are living life as a girl are biologically different, so it places them in an unfair advantage.
My daughter...
Your son.
will never go through male puberty.
He says Kieran will undergo hormone therapy to make her no different than any other girl.
Except she doesn't have ovaries and she's not an actual girl. I mean, this is just absurd. But I do agree, like, yeah, obviously it's different in sports when the kid starts at age 3 compared to like 20 after they went through male puberty. Like, I get that. I'm a logical person, but I still think that there should be a line cross, and I don't think that they should be in the same sport.
They do not know enough about these puberty blockers.
I think that's just like insane that you would ever do that. Like we shouldn't even be talking about the sports thing. We should be talking about why you're not in jail for doing that.
Planning puberty blockers for your
child. For a 3-year-old. That's absurd. That is absurd. You could have done that to me. You literally could have done that to me, and I would have had no say in it. Yeah. My whole life.
You would have been like, yes, this is what I want to do.
My whole life. Like, this kid, it's a new consciousness, and this is their new reality because of the parent, not because of them. They weren't born that way. That's not true. I don't buy it. Man, that's bullshit.
Remember when we did the whole bathroom over and SpongeBob stuff and SpongeBob towels and SpongeBob shower curtain and everything?
Of course I remember.
Yeah, right?
How could I forget?
You still want SpongeBob all over the place? Oh,
well,
kind of actually. But yeah, maybe not a good example. But,
not a good example.
But we don't have SpongeBob all over the place anymore.
I know.
You grew up and you changed. But yes, what we're going to do is...
I was amped. I was pumped when I saw SpongeBob curtains in my bathroom. I was pumped.
A kid's mental health is more important than your kid's trophy.
He just said the kid's mental health is more important than my kid's mental health is more important than your kid's trophy. So this other child's right to achieve under fair circumstances does not matter. And don't tell me that you are actually doing anything for your child's mental health, because every study shows that this is not healthy for a person's mental health. Every single one. So
Cuckoo, man.
this guy is just full of shit, and he just wants to have a freak child so that he can feel special, because he's not special. This is Munchausen by proxy is what this is.
It's crazy because he looks like a base guy. Like, he looks like a normal base guy, but like this one doesn't.
Look at his shirt.
Our daughter is 10 years old. She started letting us know that she was transgender really before she could even speak. She would do things like wear her sister's clothes, pretend that towels were her long hair. And when she was about 3 years old, she started to withdraw and become depressed. So we started doing some research. We talked to her pediatrician. Our daughter is 10 years old.
Oh my God, there was so much wrong with what they just said. That's insane.
Where do you want to start?
We can start at the kid was wearing his sister's dresses and putting a towel on his head.
Little kid was playing.
Like, that's not like normal. I'm
playing
sure
dress up. Kids play dress up. That's what they do.
I could have done that, and I wouldn't even. I don't remember, but like I'm sure I might have.
I don't remember. We were always like playing and goofing around.
And then the kid became depressed. What do you mean the kid became depressed? It's a 3-year-old. How do you become depressed as a 3-year-old?
I usually listen. I am no psychologist. I do not know, but.
Bro.
The lay person in me knows that children can become withdrawn and after a trauma. So is there something else that happened here that they're not telling us?
A 3-year-old being depressed, your solution should never be that it's because they think they're the other gender. Like that's the last thing I would ever possibly imagine for why my kid is upset.
Shame on these sickos.
The last thing, because I you know what it's like to be a little kid. Your reality is so different from what it is now. Like your brain
I'm disgusted.
analyzes the world completely differently. So to think that because you're 40 and you believe this bullshit, that's where your kid's head is, they don't know anything. They don't know anything.
A kid that age, she's talking to, doesn't even know the difference between the hot faucet and the cold faucet and how to not burn itself when it or how to even wash its own hands.
You think Santa's real till you're like 8. That's
or older if you're lucky.
3 times longer than this little shit has been alive.
But this child,
He called
this
it a little shit.
Little boy at 2 years old thought that he was Marilyn Monroe.
I call everyone.
I buy it.
I call everyone little shit. My cousins call me little shit. Don't get so upset because I'm sure
what
they're
Grandpa
watching.
called me.
About racism, anti-blackness, or violence.
Look at this guy. This guy likes it in the butt.
That's a stupid thing to say.
I will use my voice in the most uplifting way possible.
It's true. No, it's just.
And do everything in my power to educate my community. I will love my black neighbors the same as my white ones.
What is this? What stupidity is this? They're holding their hands up like they're in praise to God.
They're praising the woke ideology.
This is where the Bible warns of idolatry and taking anything before God and making it a God. And they are making this ideology their God and everything about them. And this will disappoint them. This will leave them empty. They will never be satisfied by it.
They'll have no connection to any greater spiritual being. Nothing.
They'll have nothing but emptiness and misery,
and
which
hate.
is what they and hate, which is what they have.
For their own skin color, because they're convinced that just being white, that they're already bad to black people.
Sad. This is so.
And you have to go and you have to pray to the Black Lives Matter gods that are milking you for money, that you're gonna treat black people the same. When you do this shit, you don't end up treating black people the same. Because now every time you look at a black person, you're thinking you have to kiss their ass. You're not even treating them the same.
Even if they're not a nice person.
No, you're just like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's the truth, though. I remember going through this, and there'd be a black guy walking up down the street, and I have to be like, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Doing good?
I treat everybody the same still.
No, but I remember, I'm just joking, but I remember feeling different. Like you felt like you had to be nicer because they also, you were convinced that this is what they did to people, though. I don't know. I'm just being an idiot.
No. I remember having a couple of moments of feeling that way, and then even having that internal conversation like, no, I'm not letting this shit affect me. Treating everybody the same. If I'm in a bad mood, nobody's getting a hello. If I'm in a good mood, everybody's getting a smile and hello.
I hate you all.
I don't give a shit about your skin color. I don't. And I never did. And I was raised not to notice people for that. I was raised to notice people for how they carried themselves and what the content of their character was. And I'm sticking with it. And they can pound this.
There's things now that like I won't do business with people if they believe certain stuff. Like if they believe in Black Lives Matter still, if they hate Tate, I just like I won't like let you work for me because I just know you're a weak-minded person and you'll turn on somebody if the news tells you to, or you just your brain, you don't think for yourself.
Yeah, when I was at
so why would I work with you?
When I was at
It's actually a good thing.
When
It's
I
like
worked
good,
at
easy
Wayfair,
red flags.
when I worked at Wayfair, I was going through resumes for our semester-long intern, and one of them sent over their portfolio. It was in the creative department, and one of them sent over a whole portfolio loaded with woke shit.
Mm-hmm.
I just pushed right by it.
Really?
Right by. I'm not dealing with that shit. Nope.
Nah, man. It's funny how often people like have to like portray that they're woke too. And in reality, they're just like, they're not. I've had multiple business calls where I'm like, I say some shit and they're like, oh yeah, like that's facts. But like on social media, it's the opposite. Or their company profile. Bullshit. It's all bullshit. All right. Thank you so much for watching.
Cut that. That was disgusting. And that embarrasses me as a mother that's how you act in public.